Okay, this has to be quick because I have somewhere to go and my skin is glowing. I am looking fine and natural and thriving and happy and radiant. But anyway, I'm excited because today is the end of week one of the course. We ended week one and there's like a little check-in section. So I'm just going to read the check-in section, talk about a little bit about this week, what we went over, what we did, things that, I came to conclusions with, to grasp with, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the shit. So the first thing for the check-in is, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? So I didn't do my morning pages this morning, and I also didn't do them yesterday because it was crazy. I just had some crazy stuff occur. We were busy. I'm sorry, but that's no excuse. That's no excuse. We're not going to do that again. That was one thing. I didn't do them for 2 days. But for the other ones, like, let me show y'all. Like, my morning pages, they're full. You know what I'm saying? Like, we be having our little to-do lists and things like that. So that was good. Okay. Also, let me see. Did you do your artist date this week? And yes, I did. Now let's talk about the artist date. Actually, I want to go over the assignments because I had a couple of assignments and I want to talk about kind of each of them, not super in depth, but no, fuck it. It's going to be super in depth because that's what I want to do. I had a couple of assignments to do this week, and yeah, let's jump into it. So first of all, I'm not going to start with the artist date. I'm going to start with the first assignment. So the first thing that I was supposed to do for week one was write down my affirmations and your blurts. So for week one, we were talking about negative core beliefs that I have within me that are basically blocking my creativity. So just things about myself, things that have happened in the past that I may not have realized triggered insecurities and negative core beliefs that I have creatively, which is basically blocking my creative flow. And so what she was talking about in the book was, she was saying that to write affirmations, and when you're writing your affirmations, basically take note to mental blurts that come out. Or like, say if I were to tell myself I am a shameless creative as an affirmation, a blurt in the back of my mind would probably be something like, you're not that good, or who the fuck do you think you are to say that? And so she said to write down. So I wrote down my affirmations and I wrote down some blurts. So I did 2 affirmations and I wrote down 2 blurts. My first affirmation was, I am a shameless creative. And my second affirmation was, I am capable of making an abundance of great art. My blurts were, and things that I guess negative core beliefs that I have is that I'll only be a one-hit wonder. Like, I only am going to be able to produce one great body of work or one great project, and I will never be able to do it again. Or I can only write one good song or one hit, and it'll never happen again. And then another negative core belief that I have is that I'm too offensive, and I should be ashamed of myself, of my beliefs, of my attitude, my just who I am. Like, I'm too offensive and I should be ashamed. So that's why I put, I am a shameless creative and I'm capable of making an abundance of great art. Because, yeah, we get it. So that was one assignment. The next assignment was to go on an artist date. And basically an artist date is when you spend time with your inner child and you do something just solo, something that just kind of fills the well or feels like your creative juices, or just anything that your creative inner child is like craving to do. And I went to the museum for the first time ever. I went to this one museum called Mosey. It's like a science museum in Florida, but that really doesn't count. This was my first time going to an art museum, and I went to the Metropolitan Museum here in New York, and it was amazing. It was the greatest experience ever. I wasn't even there that long, but I think my favorite type of art, or what I was really gravitating towards and what really resonated with me and moved me in this museum, were the sculptures. I literally had a super emotional experience with one of these sculptures that I saw, that triggered this idea that I have for the broom closet. And also, it just, I don't know, it just brought me to tears. It moved me. It just moved me, like reading the background story of what it was about, where it came from, how it related to me. And it just resonated so deep that it triggered an emotional response from me. And I needed that. And just looking at different paintings and reading about the artist's mental states and how they came to create these beautiful paintings were all very, it moved me. So I really enjoyed going to the museum. I have to do it more. My inner child loved it. I just felt like I could stay in there and get lost in there for days if I allowed myself. And so I did go on my artist day. It went great, and I will be at the museum more often because I didn't see as much as I could. But anyway, that was fucking amazing. I loved it. The next assignment was to time travel, and that is when you list 3 old enemies that of your creative self-worth. When I say that, we were talking about in week 1 creative monsters. And these are basically just like past monsters or people or situations, events with certain people that may have triggered an insecurity within you creatively. And I have a couple of creative monsters that just kind of came to me that really impacted me the most. I remember when I first started making music, when I first started sharing music on the internet, I posted this song that I loved, and it made me feel so good. And I posted it on my Instagram and my Twitter. I want to say it was like the 3rd video that I ever had posted of me showing the music that I was already making. And this girl from Twitter, she quoted my video, and she was like, "This is corny as fuck." And like, I remember, I know it may sound ridiculous, but this, you know what? It doesn't matter. You're doing that thing again, Jayla. Don't fucking do that. It made me feel so, what did Drake say? It just made me feel like I ain't have it like that. Like, she just made me feel like, I was like, I thought this was really good, and she just said it was corny. And I just remember looking at my phone like, fuck. Like, I was embarrassed. I was just really embarrassed after I saw her comment, and I just felt stupid for even posting it. And then, like, I kept rewatching the video trying to find the corniness, and it just made me feel like not only was my song corny, the video was corny, I was corny, and that whole word and like that, it just really started to fuck with my head. I took the video down, and I was just like, okay, forget about it. But that is an example of a creative monster that just kind of triggered me, because I remember after that tweet happened, I kind of got angry, and I told myself, like, no one's ever gonna fucking call me corny again. I'm gonna make sure the next song that I write is the best, most uncorniest shit that any bitch has ever fucking seen. And yeah. A second creative monster, my ex, Vince, which I mean, the word monster is so like harsh to me, but it doesn't matter. It's a moment in time in the past that may have triggered something. Somebody may have known they did it intentionally, maybe they didn't. In this case, I don't think he knew that he meant it. But anyway, when I was making music, this is when I moved to Atlanta to stay with my mom for a little bit. And I never knew how to record myself before. And my sister had this iPad, and it had GarageBand on it. So I downloaded GarageBand, and I made this song called A Black Boy's Lullaby, which is still my favorite song that I have ever written by myself. And I've yet to put it out. And I think it's because of this situation. It's called A Black Boy's Lullaby. It's an acapella. No, it's not. It's not acapella. Very harmonic, though. So I spent days working on this song, A Black Boy's Lullaby. And I recorded it on GarageBand. I finally built up the courage to show him what I had recorded. And before I showed him, I just remember giving this like long ass disclaimer, like, yeah, I'm just kind of like, I was trying to downplay it so that he didn't expect much, and so that if he didn't like it, it wouldn't hurt me. And so I was just like, yeah, it's not done. I'm just kind of like playing around, it's just a rough draft, it's nothing. And so I played it for him, even though this was done to me and my greatest work of art at the time. And when I played it for him, he literally bust out laughing. Like, and I laughed with him, but so I'm sure he didn't think that it hurt me, but it killed me. I felt stupid. I felt corny. I felt like I ain't have it like that. And it made me, that moment is what triggered the insecurity that I have now, which is I don't let anybody hear my music until it's mastered. I don't let people hear my roughs. I don't let people hear stuff that I'm trying. I don't let people hear songs until they are done. And I will sit on a song and I will listen to it over and over and over. And I will critique myself over and over and over and beat the shit out of myself, beat myself up about a song over and over and over, and listen to it as if I'm listening to it through other people's ears. And think about, what could they possibly say about this? Well, what is it about that they might say about that? And this has to be perfect because what if they notice this? And da-da-da-da. And so that moment, that when that happened to me, that's what triggered my my not hypersensual, you know what I'm trying to say. That's just what triggered me to be so defensive about my work and insecure and scared to let people hear the process of my work and be included, or just let people hear my shit, period. So I kind of got straight to the root of why I'm like that and what caused that and where it started and what triggered it. And then the last one is, I mean, I don't want to say, fuck it, bro. It is what it is. I'm telling the truth. This is my space. Fuck that shit. I'm not holding anything back. It is what it is. The last creative monster that I dealt with was Tone. Recording with him felt like just really, it's one of those things where even when I was writing it, I couldn't describe what it was, but I just remember every time I left the studio, I felt more discouraged, or just stupid, or just like I just didn't have it. But when I'm recording with my new engineer, I'm recording with my new studio, I don't feel that way. And so just little things that are said or how they're said, or just little, like little things kind of triggered this insecurity that I have when I'm in the studio. Again, that whole process thing. It's I get so vulnerable and I get so insecure letting people into my bubble because I'm so afraid of just like, I feel like these moments. And so these are the core rooted moments. Like I finally got straight to them. I got to the root of my issues, basically, which is great. It feels really good because now that I identified what those creative monsters are, I'm able to kind of just move past that and get over that shit. Like, okay, so I see this happen to you and this is why you act like that. Okay, well, what do we need to do to move that shit? Now that I've identified, I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out of my way. I don't care no more. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that shit. Fuck the bitch on Twitter. Fuck what Vince said. Fuck what Tone said. Fuck what all of them said. But at least now I know. But anyway. And moving on. So we did creative monsters, time traveling, into the past, just different things, creative enemies and stuff like that. And then another time travel was listing 3 old champions, 3 major influences or people who wish your creativity well. And I listed, hold on. Okay, my 3 champions was my teacher in 8th grade, Mr. Gavin, Gamage from church when I was in middle school, and then Miss G from when I was in high school. And Mr. Gavin in 8th grade, he would always push me to be a leader. He was that teacher who he literally used to pull me to the side and be like, Jayla, you are special. You are not like everybody else. There's something within you that is special. And he used to always just push me to not be a follower, basically. Because, you know, when you're in middle school and shit, like, you want to do what other people are doing. And so you just want to, you want to blend in. Like, I didn't always want to stand out. I don't always want to stand out. I don't try to stand out. I didn't want to. And so I was trying to blend in with my environment or with the crowd that was around me. And he would always push me to be a leader and be the one who sets the trends or be the one who does this and that and apply myself more. And I will never forget that. And he had a major role in my creativity and just how I carry myself, because I felt like he saw something in me at that time that I didn't see in myself. Gamage was like a father figure to me when I was in middle school. He was my youth pastor, and I feel like he practically was almost like a spiritual tourist guide when I was developing my relationship with God. He was always supportive of my creative endeavors and just really taught me a lot. A lot of the lessons that he taught me when I was in middle school, I will never forget. A lot of the spiritual encounters that I had in that church, I will never forget. All of everything that came out the pulpit, I'll never forget it. And the bond and crazy stuff. But he's a champion. Lastly is Miss G. When I went to Blake High School, from freshman year all the way to my senior year, Miss G was always trying to push me to apply myself more too. I hated music theory. I wanted to learn I wanted to learn how to read music, and at one point I did, but I just never had the patience or the discipline to really apply myself and practice like I needed to. I just wanted to skip to the end. I just wanted to make the music. I just wanted to do what my spirit felt. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to write. I just wanted to express myself. I didn't want to waste any of that energy trying to learn the technical aspects of music that I needed to know so that I could be able to, you know, express myself in every type of way. And so she was a jazz instructor at Blake High School. I think she's still there. And she was a champion in my life because she always let me be free in her class. She let me and my friends express ourselves however we wanted to and write music. And she taught me music theory, and she taught me jazz. And jazz is music. Everything from every genre is from jazz. Jazz is the heart of music, and that's period. And so I thank God for Miss G. And I wrote a thank you letter to all those mentors and all my champions just so I could pinpoint like where that comes from and who was encouraging my creativity. And yeah. So yeah, we went over that in week 1, and what else? We talked about imaginary lives, and it's basically this assignment where she said to list, like, if you had 5 lives that you could live, what would you be doing in them? And for my 5, or I did 8. Girl, I'm so extra. For my 5 lives, I said 1, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now, I would be a painter or a sculptor. 2, my second life, I would be a designer or a stylist. 3, I would be a gymnast. 4, a model. 5, a label owner or like executive, like on my own music label and stuff like that. 6, strictly a songwriter, not like a performance artist, which is what I am pursuing now, but strictly a songwriter for other artists, not like for myself. 7, a film director for sure. And 8, an actress. I would love to be in a horror movie. That is one of my goals. I want to star in a horror movie. Anyway. And yeah, so that was week 1. Those were the assignments that we did. So we talked about negative core beliefs. We got to some roots of like some creative enemies from the past, some creative champions, which was helpful as well. We did some creative affirmations, and we talked about blurts. And now I'm excited for week 2, because in week 2, we are going to be, let me see, I'm going to read it. It says, Week 2 addresses self-definition as a major component of creative recovery. You may find yourself drawing new boundaries and staking out new territories as your personal needs, desires, and interests. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But week 2 is called Recovering a Sense of Identity. I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out, which means I have new assignments, new goals, my artist date, and I need to stay consistent with my morning pages. So tomorrow, I'm gonna get on my morning pages, do my thing, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm feeling good. This week, even like my morning pages, I've been already seeing results. Like, it helps me. I came up with some really cool ideas just from being able to write out all this bullshit. Like, with the morning pages, you literally just write 3 pages of whatever the fuck comes to your mind, and just like getting all that shit out of my head helps me prepare for my day and just focus. Once I get it out, I'm like, let's go. And while I was even doing one of my morning pages, I ended up starting to write a song, and I came up with this concept. So, bro, that's all. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. I'm not gonna keep just like rambling because I gotta go. I got a little appointment.